Welcome to another episode of Casual Cinephilia, where enthusiastic amateurs talk very passionately about movies. I'm Ian.
I'm Lorian, and today we are talking about Godzilla, King of Monsters.
King of the Monsters. I thought this movie was great, in that there was very little plot and a bunch of big monsters beating the crap out of each other. It was what Godzilla movies should be.
I did enjoy this movie, but perhaps I haven't ever mentioned this to you. I don't think I've ever seen a full Godzilla movie actually ever in my life.
What?
As I sat down for the movie, it became quickly apparent to me that I definitely hadn't seen the one that happened before this, because I didn't know any of the characters, which, as you said, wasn't really a problem, because there wasn't a whole lot of plot, and it's not hard to fill in the blanks of what happened.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't think I know anything about Godzilla. Like, as I sat and watched the movie, I was like, because the only characters I knew were Godzilla and Mothra, and them pretty much only by name and sight. I know nothing about them at all.
Gotcha.
But I did still enjoy watching the movie. It was pretty. And Anthony Ramos was in it.
Anthony Ramos was in it. So the only returning characters were Godzilla, Ken Watanabe's character, and his female assistant.
Okay.
Those were and one of the generals, the general with the gray hair. Literally, those are the only returning characters.
So the whole family thing, like that blip at the beginning, was all anyone knew?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of them.
Cool.
Where they lose their son.
Yeah.
Was the battle in San Francisco in the first movie.
That makes sense.
So it's. I guess that's kind of important, but you really didn't need to know.
If you watched the trailers for the last one, you knew there was a battle in San Francisco that wiped out
really,
the city.
The only thing that you really needed to know from the first movie is that Godzilla himself is not against humans.
Right.
Like, you learn that in the first one, that he's not necessarily like against humans, he's just there to balance. And humans kind of screwed up something and woke up a evil thing. But his thing was he's putting down these evil monsters, not humanity. He's kind of their protector. That's what you learn in the first one, and then the second one kind of emphasizes it more. Right. Spoiler alerts, we're going to be talking about pretty much everything in this movie. But there's really not much to spoil.
Right. If you saw the trailers, you know it's going to be monsters fighting monsters and some people running around at their feet sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. But going into that, this felt like a Godzilla movie. And I really enjoyed that because Americans aren't very good at making Japanese adaptations. Like, Ghost in the Shell was an alright film, but it just didn't feel what the original felt like. Because you look at all these adaptations of Japanese movies or anime and stuff like that, and they don't get the feel of it. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the people who made King of the Monsters and the first one less so. The 2014 Godzilla felt less like a Godzilla movie than this one. But I think it's because it focused more on the humans.
Sure.
I think Godzilla...
I believe you.
Godzilla, I think, was in the first one for like 8 minutes.
Oh.
Of a 90-plus movie. This one, he's in it a lot. And if he's not in it, it's Rodan. And if it's not Rodan, it's a cacophony. What, they had like 5, 6?
Yeah, 5 or 6 that they showed on screen, and a reference to 17 of them.
This felt like a Godzilla movie to me.
That's good.
Yeah.
So my brother will probably enjoy it.
Yeah. The visuals were weird for me.
Yeah.
In that there are moments where it looked gorgeous. Mm-hmm. And then there are moments where it felt incredibly CG. Mainly with... oh my gosh. I'm totally blanking on his name. the three-headed dragon.
Sure.
There are moments where it would like lean in and get close to a window or something like that, and it just felt CG.
Did this get a 3D release? Maybe those are 3D moments? Because I saw it in flat format.
I did too.
I feel like those feel CGE a lot of times.
Yeah. But other than like a few moments, it was a gorgeous movie to watch, I thought.
It was, yeah. The Mothra stuff was real pretty.
Yeah. The way, I don't know if it was just our projector or something like that, but whenever, I think it's because it's just such a dark movie to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever Mothra came on, it hurt my eyes. Like Mothra would like, and you're like, oh God, okay, that's bright.
Ow, damn it.
But yeah, I really appreciate it. I feel like I'm dominating this conversation because I love Godzilla.
That was predictable. You love Godzilla, and I've never seen a Godzilla movie but this one.
So I'll get a couple of my points out, and then I want to hear what your thoughts on the movie were.
Sure.
But I really appreciated that they stuck with Mothra being a good guy. Like, I forget what it was, but there was one where they like tried to make Mothra a bad guy, and it just felt so wrong. And it was even a Toho one, but it was whatever. But it just they drew the lines that there are guardians. Laundry's done, if you couldn't tell. That there's guardians, and then there's antagonists.
Right.
Like there's essentially the Power Rangers of giant kaiju, and
that was a relatable way to phrase that.
Yeah,
you just got to be in the club, I guess.
It's true though. But like
I believe you, but
I really appreciate that they are defining the lines.
Sure.
I'll get into it later, but the credit sequence and then the end credit sequence really got me hyped up. Like,
are they doing Godzilla versus King Kong?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And they're building up the universe like DC should have.
Slowly, with an origin story and another and a little bit more.
With purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to get a proper BVS, but it's going to be GVK. That doesn't flow off.
No, it sounds like a venereal disease.
Give it to me straight, Doc. You've got BVK.
GVK.
Damn it, I can't even say
Batman vs. King Kong. I would watch that movie.
I'm Batman. I actually saw a meme. Just King Kong with a banana over Godzilla. It's like Godzilla goes, "You have to save Mothra." King Kong's like, "Why did you say that name?" It's from Batman vs.
I never saw Batman vs. Superman. I listened to y'all when you told me it was terrible.
Oh, well, good. There's literally a scene that stops Batman from killing Superman because Superman says, "Save Martha," which is the name of his mother.
Yes.
Both of their mothers.
Yeah.
And Batman literally goes, "Why did you say that name?" And Lois Lane comes out of nowhere and says, "It's his mother!" And Batman goes, "Oh, he's a good guy."
What?
And yeah, then they join sides and fight Doomsday.
Are all people with mothers named Martha good? What's the logic there?
Apparently.
Okay, there is no logic.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, that was our review of Batman vs. Superman.
But now you see why I think it's so funny.
Yes.
You have to save Mothra. Why did you say that name? Oh, I can't wait.
Good.
Godzilla vs. King Kong is going to be so good. And they did.
I did see the King Kong movies that have come out in the last few years. The Skull Island and the one from a decade or so ago.
Yeah, the Peter Jackson one.
Yeah.
That one was good. The Skull Island one is another one of those where you don't really need to know the plot. It's just
I enjoyed it.
Fun action.
There was all that helicopter nonsense and stuff.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's good. So I'm curious what your thoughts were on the movie.
Well, You've pretty much heard all of them. As you can see, I didn't bring my notebook with me because the notes are like, oh yeah, I forgot. I've never seen a Godzilla movie before. Wow, what's happened? I mean, it was easy to surmise what was happening.
Yeah.
There were monsters. They were fighting other monsters. People needed to believe in them or not. Blah, blah, blah. The military was being a bitch. Blah, blah, blah. Moving on.
For the most part. But it was nice having the military actually be like, okay, we actually have to side with Godzilla now.
Yeah, there was helpful and hindrance in the military. I mean...
Like you do.
Right. I came out of the movie with Hamilton songs stuck in my head because Anthony Ramos was in it. But other than that, I did enjoy it. I have no
point of reference.
Right. I mean, the costumes were modern day, which is not my thing.
Mm-hmm.
They looked good, but they were also just clothes.
Yeah.
Which means they did their job really well, because none of them stood out as what the hell is that person wearing.
Fair point.
But I don't have anything to say there. I don't know anything about Godzilla, so I have nothing to say about that. I like Millie Bobby Brown. I thought she was good.
Yeah, I thought she was good. For the most part, I think all the actors were really good for the little bit they did. You know?
Yeah, right.
I love
good job, animation department.
Yeah.
They really carried this movie on their shoulders.
I love the new design of Chunky Godzilla.
Yeah, he's a real chonker.
He's a real chunker, and he feels like a sumo wrestler to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think there's even a point in the movie where like he's about to face off with one of the monsters, and he literally like spreads his legs and
he like squares
gets into,
off
like, a sumo stance as he's about to charge him, and it's like, that's just cool. Because it feels like the guy in the suit, but just really well animated.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. I just loved it. The whole scene with Rodan, the giant like pterodactyl thing, flying over the city and just demolishing the city as it flies by. I thought that was so cool.
It was pretty cool.
That was just a really cool like design and just cool destruction.
One criticism is not knowing any of the monsters, which I assume are all established.
Well, for the most part. The scorpion one is a weird one, and the weird tusk one, I don't know who those two are.
Okay. They did have a pretty samey design scheme. Mm-hmm. So not knowing who they were, the only ones that I was able to like immediately place from other moments were Godzilla and Mothra and the Hydra thing.
Yeah. So, Rodan, which is the pterodactyl, why am I totally blanking on the three-headed? It's similar to Godzilla. It's like, not Gojira, I'm totally blanking on it.
They mostly called it Monster Zero in the movie, so I don't...
But like, it's Rodan, Godzilla, and Mothra are the four legacy ones. And
that would be a really great remake. Just replace the dragon with a giant Pennywise clown. Someone do that.
It's like,
just you keep the sounds the same. We don't need to change it.
There's just three heads of him.
Yeah, sure. Make it a dragon in that costume with three.
It's just a costume.
It's fine.
Oh man. I think also they had one of the monsters from the first movie there as well.
The weird like plate-headed thing.
Yeah. Which I'm not a big fan of those, but
sure.
They're canon now for the new ones.
Great.
But yeah, for the most part, those were the only legacy ones. The other, the scorpion one, and then
the like mammoth gorilla.
Yeah, that's actually a really good descriptor of it. It was a mammoth gorilla.
Mm-hmm.
I don't recognize those from anything.
Cool.
Yeah. Oh, it was nice of them to destroy. Like, they've been very inclusive with their city destruction.